right, I'm here with Bonnie Somerville. Hey, Bonnie.
How do I look?
I'm wonderful as always.
Right.
And that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about, too, because there are obviously, you're a very lovely and beautiful actress.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, as a guy, I have absolutely no idea what goes into red carpet stuff. Also in the fact that I've gone close to a red carpet a few times, but I don't walk them as much as you do.
But you did go with me once and made fun of me, you and your lovely wife, the entire night, how I went from like myself to all of a sudden stepped on the red carpet and you said I was like, bam!
That's what I want.
Bam!
That's exactly what I want to talk to you about, because you're like you're very normal, you're down to earth. You turn into movie star, TV star when you get out, and that's your career.
Right.
But how do you prepare for that? Seriously, like when.
First of all, it takes a village because, as you can tell, I'm meeting you now normal, au naturel. So when I do that stuff, it's like an hour and a half of hair, an hour and a half of makeup, the dress, the shoes. It's like a whole thing. I mean, it's not. Nobody looks like that in real life. Nobody. So then you go, and it's completely ridiculous, nerve-wracking, and you go down this carpet and people are yelling your name and you're trying I usually get this facial twitch. It's really true. I get like a tick when I smile, and sometimes my eye will twitter, and I literally am thinking the whole time, can they tell that my eye is shaking, or I get like a twitch in my cheek, and the whole thing I'm like trying to look pretty and trying to remember this is a good face, this is not, this, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, when you say that though, like this is a good face, the first time you did it, did you have any clue what was going on?
No.
Did someone teach you?
No, and there are pictures on the internet from 1999, I think the first time I ever went anywhere, and I'm like wearing like a midriff top, and like it just looks so cheesy, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And you do eventually learn, like, this is a good smile, maybe this is too much of a smile, this is too teethy, this is like, this is good, mouth closed. You kind of learn like what looks good from trial and error. I have some pretty bad pictures out there on the internet, I gotta say.
You got some good ones too, though.
Thank you.
Do you know when you see certain photographers and they're screaming like, uh-oh, that guy's gonna chew my head off?
Yes, I have some photographers that are really nice, that know me and like me, or they like my music, so they know me and they're really nice. And then some people just yell and scream at you, and they're just so rude and aggressive. And I'm not even like very famous. What happens with me is usually I walk the red carpet and I get a little attention, and then someone really famous shows up, and it's like, God damn it, then they all go, and they're like off me, and I'm like, oh wait, but. So I like to arrive by myself so that I get all the attention, but some photographers are really aggressive.
Let's see, what else I want to ask you? So I want to go back to the fact that when you first, the first time you ever did, because you're a girl from Brooklyn.
Yes.
When you, getting into this, and I want, for actresses that are starting out and don't have a clue, and you kind of fell into it almost, right?
Yeah, I came out to LA to be an actress, and I worked 3 jobs, and I busted my ass for 3 years, and I did everything I possibly could do, and it took me about 4 years to even get a nibble. It was tough. I didn't come out here and have that lucky, 21-year-old gets put in a movie like Twilight. I did extra work. I did everything. So it took me a long time, and then I kind of got, I got lucky. I started working, and then I got really lucky because I booked a pilot, Grosse Pointe, which was on the old WB network, and that was the first time I started getting actual press and had to do photo shoots and started to learn about that part of the business. But it's what you dream about. You want people to know who you are. I'm kind of like the in-between. Sometimes people do, and then sometimes they're like, I think I know her. Who is she? Mona from Friends. That's my big one. Okay.
And let's see, we're talking about as far as how you are a pretty normal, down-to-earth girl.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, a lot of people don't know this about you. I don't think a lot of people know. You make a mean meatball.
I do. I've made it for you.
Well, let's see. So, are you what's your nationality?
I'm Irish. Mm-hmm. German, Scottish, Italian. I'm a mutt.
Right. So very little Italian. How do you make such a great meatball? How did you learn how to do it?
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, in a Irish Italian neighborhood, and pretty much everyone cooks. That's the thing. Cook Sunday dinner. My best friend growing up was an Italian girl, very Italian, and I learned from them about the Sunday sauce, the gravy, the macaroni and gravy that we call it back east. And I just learned how to cook from her, really, and I kind of stole her recipes. But you kind of have to know, if you're a Brooklyn girl, you pretty much cook weekend. It's like a thing. It's a family dinner.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
I love Italian food. I do make a mean meatball, thank you. I think I make pretty good roast, pot roast. My Irish roots, potatoes of any kind. But I'm pretty much I love to cook pasta. If I could eat pasta 3 times a day without being obese, I would do it.
Okay, let's switch topics real quick, and let's talk about as far as dating scene goes. Like, why do you say "oy"?
It's tough. It's tough dating in Hollywood.
Really, even for you. I mean, like you are like, again, guys have to be intimidated by you. They see you and they go. I mean, I look at pictures of you and I know you, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Bonnie Somerville. Like, so, like, how do you?
Well, I'm a pain in the ass. I'm a ball breaker. East Coast girls are definitely a little. Probably more aggressive than guys are used to, and I think some guys are intimidated by the career stuff. They think maybe I'm a certain way and I'm totally not, so they won't ask me out. But then also the competition in LA. I mean, this is like the most beautiful city in the world. I mean, you're dealing with like everyone comes off the truck. I mean, there are all these gorgeous women. So the competition pool is pretty fierce. There's a lot of beautiful hot women and young hot women in Hollywood.
What does it for you as far as a guy? Like, if a guy comes up to you and impresses you, how does he do it?
Sense of humor.
Okay.
Balls. I like a guy that just comes up and says what he wants.
Shows his balls.
Shows his balls. Pretty much take your balls out and show them to me. Not literally, but figuratively, and just a guy that's really cool and down to earth. But I definitely need a sense of humor, and I need a guy that's not shy. Put it that way. Shy and me probably doesn't mix.
What do you like? What's some of your things? I know you're a foodie, right?
I'm a foodie.
What's some of your favorite places to go? Restaurants
God.
and stuff?
I'm like the person that tries anything, any restaurant. I read, LA Magazine comes out. They tell you like the good eats, and I'm there. I'll try anything. So anyone who has if a guy wants to impress me, he could have a plan of some cool new restaurant somewhere, like maybe some obscure place that's not so fancy, that's got great food. I'd be really impressed by that. I like a guy that takes charge with that. LA's got amazing restaurants. I mean, we've really stepped it up in the past 10 years. There's some really amazing chefs out here. And then there's a whole underground food scene. I mean, even here where we are, Farmers Market, the best Mexican food you'll ever eat in your life is a little stand that's been down there for 40 years, La Torilla. Best tacos, best carne asada I've ever had.
It's down here? Really? Let's see if I can get a shot of it from here. I don't know if I can. Nah, it's too dark.
I think I've told you to go there.
I'm sure you've told me to go to most of the places I've gone to.
I've told you all the places. What AOC is one of my favorite restaurants. There's everything. I went to this place called Jitlada, best Thai food in LA, and it's a divey place on Sunset that was on all the Food Network shows. I finally checked it out. I've been reading about it for years. The best Thai food you will ever have. The menu is 7 pages.
Where is this?
It's on Sunset, just past Bronson. I told you about it. You got to go there. It's authentic Thai. It's authentic. Your mouth will be burning in the best way.
So you are a foodie.
I'm a foodie.
Good. And what's else I wanted to ask you too? Oh, switching subjects one more time before I let you go and finish your coffee. You recently just did a horror film.
I just did my first horror movie, yes, with Val Kilmer and Bing Rames and Luke Goss, called Seven Below. What
was the craziest thing that happened off set?
Oh my God. The crazy things happen on set.
Really?
I had my first experience with an actor who was, how should we put it, inebriated during a scene.
Really?
That's never happened to me. I've heard of it. I've never in my life. I've worked with the craziest people, and they've always been professional. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
You sure it wasn't Mark Ellis?
Wasn't Mark Ellis.
Okay.
But he was pretty much bombed, and we had to work with a bombed actor during the scene. It was insane, and it was 3 a.m. We were exhausted. It was not a good scene.
Are they going to use subtitles?
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to cut around that. It was pretty crazy.
Okay.
But I had my first death. I died a good death. I was really into it. I was thinking. I actually was thinking of you because I know that you're you see every movie, and I was thinking of all my friends, and I was like, you know what? I got to do this I want this to be good. Like, I really wanted the good death. I didn't want the stupid horror death. I was stabbed. I walk up. I asked for more blood. I was like, I requested more blood because I was like, let's make this real. If I was stabbed, gutted, I would have blood everywhere. So they thought that was cool, that I was asking for more blood, more dirt. And I didn't want it to be fake. And I had my first like death where I just die and I turn and I do the death stare, and it was really cool because I was really worked up and I was really emotional, and the sun was coming out. We only had two minutes to get the shot because the lighting was going to change, and it was like 6 something, and right when I turned, it couldn't have planned it. Right when I turned, I had a perfect tear just fall. It was like perfect. It was so awesome. Like, I couldn't have planned it better. It was like the ghost tear, just like one.
So when you, how'd you get there? Like, what do you like? Were you a horror film fan?
I love horror film, but I like old school classic. Like, I like psychological thrillers, like the Rosemary's Babies, like the real scary stuff. You know, the old school. I mean, like The Omen, like one of the scariest films of all time.
Where did you see that the first time, The Omen? Do you remember how old
my babysitter actually let us watch it, and I had like night terror for weeks, and my mom almost kicked that girl's ass.
For letting you watch it?
Yeah.
And you think she was like the coolest ever?
Oh, she was my friend's sister. She let us watch The Omen, and my mom specifically had said like no scary movies because I was like a scaredy cat kid. I didn't sleep for weeks. My mom wanted to literally kick this girl's ass. But look at that stuff now. It's just that like those movies are so much more scary. They don't like hit you over the head with everything. They let you like, but you walk down the hall, you know, the long, slow shot. That's kind of like with this movie. I think this movie is going to be really cool because it's kind of old school. Like, it's very, very, lots of long shots, lots of, you don't know who's around the corner, you know, that kind of stuff. But I really wanted it to be good. I was like really, I took it really seriously. So I got myself really worked up. Like, I was really emotional, and I got my adrenaline up, and I was just like, let's shoot it. And then the tears just came because it's like, you're so emotional, and I was tired, and being tired helps when you want to be emotional.
Right.
When you're exhausted, you pretty much can cry at anything. Like, I pretty much cried all the time because I was so tired. I didn't sleep for days.
Speaking of not sleeping, I may know of someone who's pregnant. Someone I know is having a baby shower.
Yes.
Can you tell me how friends of someone who has baby showers and like how you prepare for that?
I have 6 pregnant friends right now. I'm the only single one out of all my girlfriends, and there are 6 of them, all due within 2 months of each other. 3 November babies. It's crazy. I mean, it's like baby crazy. So all I do is pretty much listen to them talk about being pregnant, and soon it'll be listening to them talk about their babies. I won't be able to hear them because my clock is ticking so loudly that I can't hear anything else, but I'll pretend that I'm listening.
Bonnie, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview. You know what? Actually, I have one more thing for you.
What?
Advice to guys that, like, because for me, it's very hard for me when I'm shopping with my wife.
Yes.
I have to sit down while she's shopping.
Right.
But I still catch slack for it. How does a guy feign interest if he doesn't want to be around shopping at all?
Honestly, once in a while, a girl wants you to just say, I like that, or I don't like that, or that looks good, or just not the whole time. But if you did it like 2 times, maybe she'd be happy. Just like 2 times, look up and be like, "Oh, I love those shoes," or, you know, "Oh, that looks hot," or "I don't like that." That's all we need. Just a little interest. Honestly,
really, that's it.
That's it. You don't need to be, because we don't want you hanging out with us the entire time because you're annoying, and we want to shop. But what we want to know is that you're actually paying attention, and then you notice.
But isn't it? I agree with that. But isn't it after a little while, like there's going to be something new?
After a little while, I think you should be allowed to, as long as you show some interest,
right,
to be able to go off and do your own thing. But there's nothing I hate more than when I get dolled up for someone, or I, you know, get my hair done, or, you know, your wife who does my makeup, who's an amazing makeup artist. Being with a guy that doesn't take the time to notice, even if he just throws out, "Man, you look hot." There's nothing worse than when they just don't notice. Just notice. Just be like, "I like that shirt. That looks good on you." That's all.
Okay. And then, how do I make my wife a sports fan? How would a guy make a? Because you're a sports girl.
I have been trying to help you with your wife become a sports fan for 3 years, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the most you're going to get is that she now will sit through a Super Bowl, which she did this Super Bowl. She did sit through the entire thing.
It's true.
So I think that's a big step. But I just don't see her.
All right. Well, now, let's say my wife excluded. How if there is it because
I'm a sports.
you're a sports girl. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Actually,
I just grew up with sports. I mean, I grew up with guys that were sports fans. I went to a really athletic, heavy high school. Like it was like a big deal. I was a football cheerleader, to meet guys. But I ended up getting into the game because I started to care about the game because I was cheering for the guys. And then I did, lose my virginity to a quarterback, so that helps.
All right, Bonnie. Perfect ending to this. I love you to death. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.